Yo, thank you for tuning into the Full Circle Podcast. Look, the whole reason we even do this is to help people discover belonging in Jesus. So look, we want to help you discover identity in Christ and then walk in purpose and power in him as well. So look, do us a favor, like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, and tune in for a fire episode.
I believe, I'ma make it. I believe, I'ma make it. I believe, I'ma make it. I believe. Regardless how it seems, we don't never quit. They told me give up on your dreams, but I ain't convinced. I stay committed, it might even take a minute, but hey, this is all we ever wanted, so it's worth the wait. Gotta keep the faith. Sacrificing is more than starting a hobby. I'm doing this from my soul. Nowadays, you can find me sticking to the game plan. Clock's ticking, Steph Curry. Boy, you know I gotta take my shot. I ain't worried about the...
Yo, welcome back to episode 2 of the Full Circle Podcast. My name is Joe Jackson Jr. I got my friends with me. I got my co-hosts Amahd Simon and Chandrae, but
Hey.
How y'all doing, folks? How y'all feeling?
Same thing, same day.
It's the same day.
Feeling great.
Fact.
I need me some Jenkins, bro.
I feel like,
Is that what you need?
I need
Is
it.
it?
I just feel it in my, you know.
honestly, she mentioned that Metro Diner earlier. I was like,
That thing
yo,
That sounds fire right now.
That's
chicken
Forget
and
moving.
waffles. Come on.
Lord.
Yeah, you eat that, you gonna be slumped.
I'm down.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just want the waffles and the butter.
Shoot, I want that chicken and the spicy
Come on.
syrup.
My
You ever been to Dames? Chicken and
Dame-
waffles?
Nah.
No kind? No way? Okay.
Nah, I've never been there.
Dames was like a spot.
Really?
Like downtown Durham, Dames was a spot.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I never
bro.
went to Dame. I didn't spend too much time in Durham.
Okay. Well, look, we got another cool episode for today. So we're continuing this conversation on biblical masculinity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about what does it mean to be a man of God, and also the importance of leading as men in the kingdom of God. You know, just the culture that we've lived in, we've been indoctrinated just to every other source, every other avenue that can give us whatever self-help, you know, anything but God.
Yeah.
And what we're saying is that no. If you're going to walk out this thing, if you're going to live out this kingdom mindset and you're going to lead well, it means realigning my identity, my purpose, my direction to God.
Yes.
And specifically, like I know we're going to take a look at today, the life of Jesus, right? So we kind of talked last time, Adam, right? The first Adam, and how he represents man's brokenness, how we got into this. But Jesus representing this righteousness that we get to step into when we believe, when we confess faith in him. And I feel like, you know, a part of saying, okay, I have decided to follow Jesus. I'm not turning back. Come on. When we make that decision, what we're saying is, okay, my way has not worked.
Correct.
Come on, look at me right at home. Our way has not worked. And I feel like when we make that decision, like we're saying, okay, I want to follow God, and I need to understand what that looks like tangibly. Like if I'm gonna live out my life, and I'm gonna be a man of God, I got to get some tangible ways that I can apply for how that looks in my masculinity. And I feel like if we're gonna hit that conversation, number one, we gotta go to the Word. Right? We gotta go to the Word, right?
Every time.
Number two, I think that the concept that we first gotta really hit on is humility and submission. Humility and submission, because it all starts there. And specifically, like I know we're looking at Jesus, right, with his disciples today. But I want to open it up, bro. I want to talk about, you know, exactly how can we see and observe and apply that in our own lives from his story.
Yeah, I think we kind of hit on it, or we talked about it just like off camera for a little bit. Like there is so much that we could pull from the life of Jesus as it relates to biblical masculinity and how we as men, you know, can follow that example that he left for us. And you know, just in case anybody doesn't know, Jesus is my favorite character of the Bible.
Come on.
So that there's that. But really, like it definitely starts with looking at the life of Jesus, you know, and saying like, okay, like how how do I steward my life in a way that I can live. I remember like graduating from college, right? And I think it was like maybe right before I graduated, but I had a friend. She was kind of like a mentor, big sister, and she asked me, she's like, all right, what do you want to do now that you're done? And I literally said, man, I just want to live like Jesus. Like, I don't know what that And she was like asking me about career and stuff like that. I was like, man, I just want to live like Jesus. I just want to go out and just like, you know, tell people about the gospel, about the good news.
Yeah.
And love on them and pray for them and heal them and all of that stuff. I was just like, I want to do all the things that Jesus did. But in a sense, like yes, like as men, as believers as a whole, like, man, the goal should be to look like Jesus. You know, Paul leaves us, you know, the model of, you know, of a man and a wife in, you know, in the context of marriage. He says, love your wife as Christ loved the church. And then he says that, you know, like that men have headship, they're leaders in their household, not the only leader, because, you know, women can lead too. They are leaders in their households as well. But once again, like we just kind of look at Paul's example. Okay, like Christ in the church, right? Then he talks about how men have headship, and so like now we look at, all right, Jesus is a leader. So how do I model my life as Jesus, the leader? And so I think there's so many different things that we can take away from this walk of Jesus. And so, men, I urge you, like, as you are looking at your life and you're searching for purpose and you're trying to figure out how to be a man, the first place you should look is at the life of Jesus.
Come on. At the life of Jesus.
Public service announcement.
PSA.
PSA.
Yeah.
Let's open it up then. All right, so for today, we're in John chapter 13.
13. We're in John chapter 13 today in the good book.
Come on. And this is Jesus washing his disciples' feet.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like Last Supper time.
Yeah.
You know, like it's about to go down. Jesus knows it's getting ready to go down. He done told them multiple times that it's getting ready to go. They don't understand it. It's just they can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
And like he's gathered them together, and you know, it's just this stark contrast of the nature that it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like it should be them washing, right? But Jesus is like, no, I'm getting ready to flip the script.
Yeah.
So I pour some water in the basin, and I'm getting ready to wash you guys' feet. And there's so much in that I feel like we miss, man, because this is a real deal picture of Jesus with the people that he is dying to save. Mm-hmm. Right? This is his church. Right? These are the people who he is entrusting as the Spirit comes to build it, to see it spread, right? And in loving his bride well, he does some specific things, man, that characterize masculinity, especially when you start talking about in a relationship, man. And the number one thing I feel like Jesus does in this moment is he humbles himself low. Like low.
Can we talk about why he was washing feet?
Talk to what you got.
Oh, no, I'm asking y'all.
Oh, you okay.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. You know, just in, I believe, Jewish culture, it's almost like customary. Like you wash, they have like very customary like washing hands, like rules or whatever, but you know, it's customary for when you sit down and you gather together, especially for a meal. It's customary for Jewish people, or the lowest person, and this is important.
Come on.
For the lowest person,
that's what I wanted to hear.
The lowest seated person to wash the feet of others.
Come on.
And so that's why he's washing feet right now, and he's proving a point. He's modeling that humility for us.
Yeah, because the disciples were having like this battle, weren't they? Of like who's greater than the other, so that they didn't have to have that responsibility. Right. And so like, if y'all can give an example or think of one, like what does that look like for men in the world? Like
I think you racing to the back of the line. Like it is a race to the back of the line.
Yeah.
How can I humble myself? Like, you know, again, Jesus' life is I stepped out of divinity into humanity. And that was a spiritual concept that maybe went over their heads too. So he said, I'm going to show you this in person.
Yeah.
Now, let me show you what it actually looks like.
I can imagine they all felt like they look stupid.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, but I'm not going to wash feet. I'm this close to Jesus, or I do this for Jesus. I'm the right hand, and I do this and I do that. And then bam, all of a sudden he like, nah, I got it actually. I know they like, yo, it probably blew their minds.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, because at this point, like, Peter declared, I think he's declared that Jesus is the Messiah. Period. So at this point, it is like, no, brother, what are you doing?
Brother.
Like,
hey, brother.
You're the king, dude. This is not supposed, it is Jesus exposing them to the the upside down nature of the kingdom.
Yeah.
Right. I am showing you.
Humility.
I know you have seen. You have seen what you thought progress was, or what you thought living was, or what you thought masculinity was.
Come on.
You thought it was exaltation, but I'm showing you, no, it's actually humility.
Humble.
And a lot of times, Jesus will give you the opportunity to humble yourself in a situation, in a season.
Before.
But a lot of times, we don't take that ticket because it looks like humiliation.
Come on.
Like a lot of times, humility in a season will look like and replicate humiliation.
Wow.
And for Jesus, you must, he was secure enough.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I am secure enough in who I am. For I do not speak on my own, but my Father who sent me has commanded me to say all that I have said. I am secure enough with my Father, the mission he has given me, the word he has spoken over my life, that I humble myself to the lowest point.
Come on.
Even though I look like an idiot and a dummy to you, even though I look crazy and I done lost my mind. No, I have my mind.
Yeah.
I know what I am doing. I am about my Father's business.
Come on.
And like it is masculinity in its truest sense of no, I take the lowest seat.
Wow.
Like I know this is reserved for me. Please get out my way.
Please move.
This is and this is the moment we were just talking about Adam, right? Passivity.
Yeah.
Like, no. I am not going
That's
to let
good.
you give me the shovel.
Yeah.
Please move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Imagine if you fought your wife over that frying pan.
Oh.
Something might change in your marriage.
No. Let me do the laundry. I got it. I'll do it today.
I'm just thinking that if that would have, I'm just thinking for me, if that would, maybe, my God, what do you need? What do you need? Now I'm serious. Like it opens up a space when you humble yourself for each other or serve each other. Yeah. And that's in friendship or anything. Like, no, I got you. Like, you ever had a friend pay for your meal? You're like, yo,
Come on.
Praise God.
It opens up like I got them on the next time, or I got them, period. Like it's a different level of connectedness, like that comes from it, that stems from the humility and the being able to just serve the other person or do something outside of that.
Dang.
Okay, keep going. I like it. I like it.
It's key, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's key.
Yeah, and you know, like I think even in just this specific passage too, like, you know, looking at like Jesus's humility, like the reason, like I think he even tells them just like, I'm doing this so that you do it for one another. And so like he's not only like being humble, but he's setting up a culture of humility.
Come on.
And so he is essentially using his influence, because he is the highest position in the room. He's using his influence to help shape culture.
Come on.
And that's a culture of humility. And I think that, you know, in just today's culture, especially the culture that we live in, like it's a culture of bravado and who looks the best, or who's the best dressed, who's got the nicest car in the realm of guys, and you know, who could lift the most, or you know, who gets the most girls. Like that's what we see in this culture. But like, man, Jesus is setting up a culture of like, nah, we're not doing that macho stuff. Like you think that makes you look like a man. You think that bravado, or you think your riz is like, that don't make you a man.
Come on.
That's not what makes you a man. Being humble, humbling yourself.
Yes.
And then the Bible even talks that he humbled himself until the point of death, until the cross. Like Jesus sets up a culture of humility for the rest of for believers overall.
Yes, that is like that. That is the staple of it all.
It's so good.
I know that in culture, your staircase has been ascending. You have been trying to climb up your entire life.
Next level.
Now that you have come to me, you have stepped into my kingdom.
To lay it.
This staircase is coming down.
Lay it at my feet. I know you lying.
We're going down. Yeah. Are you coming?
Dang.
Come on. You coming?
Are you coming?
Dang.
To wash these toes.
That's
faithfully.
Yeah.
That's a real invitation.
Like that is, man, your stinky, nasty feet. I gotta like you, bro. You done stepped in everything.
Come on.
And been everywhere. But it is a humble position. It is a position of service.
Yes.
And specifically, man, when you start digging into, you know, the symbolism of God, his church, his people, like a man's role with his wife, right, is to, so Jesus is washing them with water.
I was just reading that.
Which is, the word, right? Washing her with the word.
Period.
That is a humbling position. Because you got to understand, Peter is in many ways throwing a tantrum at this moment.
Okay.
Do it this way. No, do it this way. Wash my head. Wash my hands. Just Peter, shut up and sit down.
Yeah.
But what happens when, like, sometimes I'm trying to wash my bride and she don't sit still?
My God. So there's a humbling part on the other end as well.
Yeah.
Like for Peter to have to take.
I'm not calling you to an easy route.
My God.
I'm calling you to humble yourself when people are kicking and screaming, not when it's lined up all perfect.
Yeah.
It's a humbling for both parties.
Yo.
Will you wash them feet when they kicking you and punching you in your mouth?
And will you let your feet be washed?
Hallelujah.
If you're not used to that happening to you.
Woo.
Or for you.
Yo.
Like, so Peter's not used to Jesus doing that. So this was something new being introduced. And so now to the ladies, like, for those of us who may have been alone for a long time or been independent and on our own, are you ready for the washing of the feet? Are you ready to get your feet washed and let your hands up?
Let me step back.
Or even for the ladies who, I have my father in my life, and I can call my daddy for anything.
Ooh.
Are you ready to stay with your husband? And it's just y'all now.
But listen,
Don't call that right
but
now.
listen, bro, when you start talking about humility, bro, and there are so many things you have to confront. I feel like one of the number one things you have to confront when you talk about humble yourself is trauma. Because this is a very, very vulnerable place.
Come on.
Okay, I'm vulnerable getting down here looking at this, because this don't look, you baby, you ain't, when last time you got a pedicure? This don't,
It's dirt under there.
That's my feet.
Baby, this is.
Oh my God. Where did you walk to today? You went to
am I-
Galilee?
What am I supposed to do with these?
What am I supposed to do with that?
But then on the flip side, I am allowing someone to see me like this.
Oh, come on.
I look dirty.
You ever went to somebody's house and you didn't want to take your shoes off?
Matter
When
of
you
fact,
young,
I'm not about to get my socks dirty.
I'm not. No, not even that. It's like I don't want you to see my feet. Or your first time as a kid, you're going to the pool. I don't want nobody to see my feet. I don't know how they're gonna feel about it, or I'm not close with them. I don't know how they're going to.
Better jump
see
straight in that
me.
pool.
Yeah.
And when you, like you said, relationship or friendship or whatever the case is, a lot of times comes that moment where you have to be who you are.
Take them shoes off.
And let them see and let them take care of that thing.
Yikes.
And see it in that 100% nastiness.
Yikes.
We don't want to show people that.
But
That side of us.
But that's the kick. Like, that's why we're kicking. That's why we're screaming. That's why we're pushing. It's because I don't want you to see me like this.
Yeah.
And I know I should sit in this chair. I want to sit in this chair.
Come on, but I don't want to give you everything while I'm sitting in this chair.
Been fighting to be married your whole life, but you kicking and screaming.
The moment the nasties start showing. Oh.
That's deep.
Oh.
Kicking and screaming.
Dude, that's deep.
And you trying to love and she trying to be loved, and I don't know how to love and she don't know how to receive the love. And at the end of the day, it is rooted in this: we need to heal.
We need to heal.
Yo.
That's
And we need
good.
to humble ourselves so that
Come
we
on.
can be healed.
So you could be. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Dang, that's crazy. That's
How your feet gonna get clean if you don't let me wash them?
Yo.
How are you going to heal?
Bro, these are real problems.
This is real.
These
Every
are
day.
real issues. Real trauma reactions.
That's so deep.
Come on, we missing teeth. And we walking around like this.
Yeah.
Walking around, and bro, earlier we were talking about masculinity. We're perpetuating these cycles where we've been hurt, and now this is what I preach, and now this is how I indoctrinate other people, and now I preach my pain, not purpose. And like what we're trying to say is that, like, in all of this, if we are going to follow Jesus as men and women of God, just foundational, it is going to take us humbling ourselves and getting low. The very words that maybe God wants you to hear today is that your humility will be picking up that mouse, turning on that computer, and typing "counselor near me."
Ooh. I'll be back.
Listen,
I'll be
my
back on the next
counselor is an
episode.
old white lady named Peggy. She preached to me
Period,
every
Peggy.
week.
Period, Peggy.
I said, "Can I get my pen first, please?"
Not King of the Hill.
Yo.
Come on, Peggy.
But you need that type of you need to understand and humble yourself enough to know I need some help.
I need some
some
help.
I need to be
My
able
God.
to sort this out. Like it's not this ain't because because once again, just, you know, almost going back to the conversation of, you know, of that we had from episode 1, of just like the things that we hear and stuff. Like, we've always been taught, like, oh, nah, you need to hold it together. Yeah. You need to be tough. Yeah. Boys don't cry. Like, no, like, man, like, no, like, I've got to be humble enough to understand that those aren't the voices that I should be listening to, that I should live my life by. Like, I got to be humble enough to know when I need help and be able to accept help and allow somebody else to wash my feet.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I got to humble myself and I got to submit to this thing.
I do find an interesting part in this conversation.
What you got?
It's just that, you know, in verse 11, like, you know, Jesus mentions, like, he's like, he knew that everybody was not clean. Like, he knew that there was a person that was going to betray him. Yet he still washed his feet. And
Sorry.
And but here's the thing, it's just like how premeditated was this? Jesus knowing that he was to be betrayed, but still choosing to model humility and to wash this man's feet. And I just feel like, man, like, you know, like a lot of us are ready to, you know, to just snap back at somebody, or just like, or just to pop off. Like, as soon as we know somebody does us wrong, or somebody, you know, somebody says something that we don't like, or somebody, you know, maybe misjudges or attacks our character. And Jesus premeditated this serving of the person that was going to betray him. And I feel like that is just another posture of humility that we see here. It's just like, dang, like, even my enemies, I'm to serve. Even my enemies, I'm to lay down my life for them. The people that I don't like, the people in the office that get on my nerves, the people at my job that are constantly, you know, saying something to belittle me or making my job harder. Like, even my enemies, I'm to serve. That's called to serve. That's humble, bro.
That is below humble. And I don't know what to call that.
And no, like, bro, like, Judas is ushering him into his purpose. Like, he is laying the carpet that he is walking on to this cross, bro. And that's the reality. Like, you know, we are to serve these people who we, like, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Pray for them.
Like, they are, the light shines brighter when it's darker. And, like, it is an interesting dichotomy, but the reality is that we needed Judas to do what he did.
Ooh, so that we could see that in everyday life. Like, that was a real situation.
A lot of the, like, we talked, you know, we talked about Joseph, bro. Like, you know, like, this unconventional path of purpose. Like, a lot of times the thing that the catalyst forward is betrayal.
Come on.
Humiliation, a pit, a prison. And, like, we're running from those things. But, like, how do I humble myself to that as a man?
Wow.
Like, I know that this is going to hurt. Yikes. I can see that this is very counter to anything I've ever done. I've never washed toes like this before.
Correct.
Never have shut my mouth like this before. I usually clap back when she says something.
On.
I usually snap back.
Oh,
very quickly.
Lord. Me and my dad used to have this, like, back and forth, like, just, and I was just boom, 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 boom. Man, but the day I said, I was praying to God for our relationship to be better, and I said, God was telling me, like, you have to give him the love that he may not have experienced. Like, you know, his my grandparents were very, like, hardworking people. Like we said before, previous episode, like, if I'm providing for my children, we're good. Like, but, you know, it may not have been that hugs every night and, you know, kiss on the forehead and all of that lovey-dovey. It was more hard love type of thing. Like, so when God told me that, and I started giving my dad the love that he might not have truly, like, had that full experience of, it was like, our relationship, we cool now. That's my dog. Like, that's my guy. It's here because we're not, someone had to humble themselves. And I hear other kids talk about, when I speak to them about their fathers and those situations, or young ladies, a lot of the conversation is, well, he's grown. He should know this, and he should know, like, he should stop acting like that. He's older than me. And I said, but we're the ones who have to change. Like, we're the ones who have to, you might have to be the one to be malleable or to change your posture. Like, you can only control you. And so a lot of times I think in situations we're waiting on the other person to change or to be something else, and we don't want to humble ourselves.
I think, like, a lot of times as men, I'm going to have to give you something that I know you won't give me in return. Like, I'm going to have to show you love when I know you won't love me back. I'm going to have to show you forgiveness when I know you won't forgive me as easily. I'm gonna have to show you patience when I know you've never been patient with me. And so a lot of like I just feel like that's what Jesus models right here. Just like a lot of times, like we'll have to lead the way. Like in order for us to see change, like we're gonna have to make change first.
Come on.
Like we can't wait. Oh, well, nah, I'm gonna just until she start appreciating me. That's when I'm gonna start washing the dishes and stuff. Like, nah, bro. Like you start washing dishes and let that appreciation start coming.
Come on.
Like you are the man. You are the leader. Like step up. Like that's on you, bro.
And that is the distinction between humility and submission.
Come on.
Humility is I got down. Submission is I'm gonna stay here. We have to submit and stay because those are the moments that God is growing something. He's circumcising.
Yes.
He's cutting on your heart. He is sanctifying you in those positions. And a lot of times, it just feels, again, it's humiliation. It like practical eyes, Jesus, this is humiliating. Like it is.
Come on.
I'm just telling you the truth.
All I can see is somebody in a club right now.
What you mean?
When they step on that shoe, they can feel humiliated.
Oh.
And immediately, most guys are like, boom, 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 boom. You stepped on my shoe. Now I got something to prove.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever seen that rare situation where it might be humiliating. You got them new forces. I'm talking about
fresh white.
Brand new. Before they at whatever price they at now, they was $90 before. Yeah. But you stepped on those shoes and that dirt got on there. You see, everybody looking around. You like, oh no, bro, you good? That is a rare moment. I've done some things in my past. Okay, I've been in the club.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, when you see that. There's no brawl now. There's no random fighting. It's just like this whole section of peace because that humiliation turned into humbleness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm catching. I'm catching what you're putting down.
That's tough.
Yeah, so if we just did that, like you said, in a practical sense, more in our lives, I think situations would just be a lot different, a lot smoother.
A lot more peaceful.
Yeah, man.
A lot more peaceful.
Yeah, I feel like something real, I don't want to cut you off. Bro.
No, go ahead.
Something real quick. I feel like a word God has been speaking, is Abraham. And I feel like we're in a season where God is saying that you have indeed noticed that there has been a delay. And I have called you to something. I called you, Abraham. I called you. I told you to go without knowing where. And I made you a promise, a son, Isaac, right? But it has taken 25 years for that to come. You've had to submit to this. You've had to humble yourself to this. And I feel like a part of that, man, again, there is sanctifying that is happening in those seasons, bro, when we are walking and processing to it. And I think that we have to stay in the fight. Stay in the fight. It's been 25 years.
Come on.
And that's a whole nother sermon. We can preach that another day. Yeah. Like the Bible, bro, unwavering faith, that's a whole nother sermon. Because Bible says Abraham had unwavering faith, but Abraham did. Hagar and that's another day. But what I'm trying to say is that, like at the end of the day, man, you talking about submission and humility. It means long suffering.
Yeah.
It means stepping into sanctifying positions. It means allowing God to cut on my heart in ways that feel humiliating, that feel devastating, that feel like despair, that are wrecking my mind. It means staying put and serving.
Come on.
Serving. My life being poured out.
Yeah, and I mean that's exactly like going back to the like why is he washing feet?
Yeah,
it's just like like once again it is customary for the lowest person in the room to wash everybody's feet, or the servant of the house to wash everybody's feet. But yeah, like that's Jesus being submitted to the process. I do think that. For some of us, like there is, I feel like it is very hard to grow spiritually if you're not submitted.
Yeah.
If you're not submitted to a pastor, if you're not submitted to a church, if you're not submitted to, some sort of discipleship, like it is going to be very hard for you to find spiritual growth if you don't stay planted, if you don't stay submitted. Yeah. And so submission is a huge part of who we need to be, because as we are submitted to God, like that's where we find our growth and the growth that we need as men, as leaders, as disciple makers, as pastors, like that, like as we stay submitted to God, that is where the fruit comes from. Yeah. And so the fact that Jesus submits to the rules or the ways of the house, of their customs, sometimes I feel like on our content sheet, for some reason, like I just went back and looked at it, and I feel like at some point we were going to talk about like the gang violence that's been happening in Jacksonville. And it is so easy for young men to think that because I'm being I need to be rebellious. I need to, be running from the police, or we got to be doing something illegal. Like, I just feel like that's just kind of being embedded in the culture, especially in the music that, some folks are listening to, really if you grow up in the streets, like that's just an idea, like to be rebellious. But like, man, like the Bible tells us that rebellious is like just as wicked as witchcraft. So when we think about the opposite of rebelliousness is submission and being submitted, like how important is it for us as men to be submitted to a process, to be submitted to God, to be submitted to a pastor, just because like if rebellion is this witchcraft, then submission must mean that this is righteousness.
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like that is a very, very strong, very strong characteristic that Jesus is showing us. Like, hey guys, like, let's stay submitted. Like, there's rules for us to follow. Like I don't think I should be just breaking rules out here, or I should just be, I should be tipping the scales in my favor. Like, there's a very, very, like, it is very important as we kind of stay in the margins that God has given us, stay submitted, to follow the rules, to follow authority, to know our place. Like, I feel like that is something that's underlyingly missing in our culture. But if we can stick to staying submitted and to being grounded and trusting in God, like, I feel like we'll see so much more fruit. Yeah, I feel like that was one thing that popped out to me throughout this passage.
Absolutely, bro. And I'll cap it, just like, so we're talking humility, we're talking submission, staying put, we're talking ultimately service, right? These things are preparing us for a life of service. A life, if we're talking about being a man of God, mirroring his example, serving people, then it means embracing those characteristics. And I think that, service, like we used to talk about this about church back in Minneapolis all the time, bro. Living a life with open hands, receiving all that God wants to give, and then also giving it away, believing that we can't outgive God. And that is what we are humbling ourselves to. That is why we're staying put, because God is developing those characteristics to be able to do that in every season. And I think those things are important. I think while we're having this conversation is that, no matter where we're going, the enemy, the serpent, he's trying to slither in any garden, in any office, wherever we're at. I mean, even here, Peter's, like, how many times in the Bible is Peter trying to rebuke Jesus or tell Jesus what to do? Yeah. Or influence. Like, we talked about that, you know what I mean? Like, just the enemy trying to be a sole influence on our lives. It is so important in those moments where God is calling us to serve, to stay submitted, to stay planted. It is important because the enemy is always trying to bring his voice in and slither and convince us to turn from serving, from living open-handedly, from living open-heartedly. And I just believe as men, bro, that's such a big piece.
Yeah. And Jesus even says, like, man, the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. So once again, he's like, as a man, like, that's what he's modeling for us, a life of service, of being able to see a need, and then also reaching out to help fill that need. And obviously the biggest need was that we as humans were broken and inherently flawed, and there was no chance of us getting back into a right relationship with God, but through Jesus Christ giving himself and giving his life for us. And so he saw the need, and he came down, he humbled himself to death and to the cross, and he served, ultimately meeting the need for us to have a relationship with God. So man, that service is a big part.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I would say, I would put the book in, man, there for this episode, and just say, like, as men and women of God, it is so important that we humble ourselves.
Come on.
Like, humble yourself.
Yeah.
Get low. Submit. Stay put. And allow God to open up your hands so that he can give you what you need.
Come on.
To lead your family as you are poured out as a sacrifice for what he did for you.
Yeah.
So,
come on, fam. That's good. That's good.
I love you guys. Right, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, what's up, Circle Up fam? So glad that you were able to tune in today. I hope you were blessed by the conversation. Here's what you need to do. You need to make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. It's going to help us so much. And hey, you can actually check out the full conversation by clicking the link in the bio below. Peace out.